And the head of the socialist wing of the Democratic Party is Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. She's really calling these shots. In fact, Senator Schumer is trying to ingratiate himself to the socialist wing of his party and to the Congresswoman. And I have to tell you, I don't hate anybody. I don't mean any disrespect. But based on her policies and beliefs, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is single-handedly trying to put an end to dumb blonde jokes. I mean, based on her policies, $1.5 trillion, she must be bilingual. She's speaking English and stupid. There's no way we're going to go along with this, and that's why we're in a shutdown.
Wow, okay, speaking English and stupid, you just have to love Senator John Kennedy. As always, he does not hold back even for a second, and you cannot help but laugh. Immediately you see his signature style, that folksy country lawyer delivery mixed with razor sharp zingers. The dumb blonde joke line and the English and stupid line are absolutely hilarious and clearly designed to be sound bites, which is exactly why he is one of the most effective communicators out there. But he is not joking just for fun. He is using humor to make a serious political point by arguing that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is really calling the shots, while Senator Chuck Schumer is just trying to stay on her good side. This is his way of framing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as the true head of the Democratic Party and painting the entire party and this government shutdown as being controlled by the most progressive wing, the Squad, making her the face of the opposition. And that is just the interview, because the full video also includes a Senate floor speech where he explains exactly why he is making these jokes, making this one of the most effective and hilarious ways to expose what is really happening in DC. So let me know what you think in the comments and stick around for the full breakdown.
All right, guys, so the government is shut down, which means that Capitol tours are closed, but we had a bus of kids from the Bronx and schools that came all the way down here for a tour. Obviously no one knew the government was shut down, so I'm giving them a tour. Say hi, everybody.
Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is. She's running the show. It was no accident the other day the Congresswoman let it slip. She said, if you really want to negotiate an end of this shutdown, come see me. Come see me. And I think any fair-minded person has to look right now and say that the two leading members, the quarterback, the two leading members of the socialist wing of the Democratic Party, the quarterback is Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. Now, her substitute is Senator Bernie Sanders. But I think it's the Congresswoman who's calling these shots. Now, Mr. President, I don't hate anybody. I've said that repeatedly, and I mean it. I like all of my colleagues. I look for grace wherever I can find it. When I say my prayers, I do, every single time. I ask God, don't let me hate, because it's hard sometimes. It's hard up here. But I do. I say, God, don't let me hate. And I certainly don't hate Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. I want to make that very clear. She has the right to her opinion. She has the right to try to have the socialists take over the Democratic Party. That's the American way. Ironically, I think what she's doing is anti-American, but she has the right as an American to do it, so I don't hate her. But I judge her by her policy. She has her opinion, and I have mine. And I have to judge her candidly by her policy. Here is what the socialist wing of the Democratic Party, led by Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, has said to the American people and to the United States Congress and the Republicans in Congress. If you Republicans don't agree to make the federal government $1.5 trillion, not million dollars, not billion dollars, $1.5 trillion bigger, we're going to shut government down. Well, of course we said no. I'm not going to vote for that. mother didn't raise a fool. And as I've said before, if she did, it was one of my brothers. I'm never going to vote for that. Now, where do I come up with this figure of $1.5 trillion? Well, the first thing that the socialists and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is asking us to do is to repeal the health care reforms in the One Big Beautiful Bill. We just passed them. Here it is, Subtitle B, Health in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now, we didn't cut Medicaid in the One Big Beautiful Bill. In fact, under our bill, Medicaid is going to increase 2% a year over the next 10 years. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. It was in the budget under President Biden. We took it out. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez in the socialist wing, the loon wing of the Democratic Party, says we're going to shut down government until you put it back in. $4.2 million. We took it out. The Congresswoman and the socialist wing of their party says we got to put that back in for the open government. $4.2 million for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex people in the Western Balkans and Uganda. I could spend the rest of the afternoon here. We took all that out. It upset Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. It upset the socialist wing of her party. And now that wing of her party.
Now that you have seen the full compilation, this is where everything connects, because Senator John Kennedy directly ties the humor to policy, and it gets even wilder as he basically says, if you thought the jokes were something, wait until you hear the policies behind them. On the Senate floor, he brings out visual aids and starts reading official spending items that sound unbelievable, like millions for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti, and millions more for LGBTQ programs in the Western Balkans and Uganda. And he knows exactly what he is doing by choosing examples that sound absurd, shocking, and impossible to defend to regular people. Then he makes his final move by tying it all together and saying, Republicans removed the funding, building a simple, powerful narrative that the government is shut down because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the squad want to fund these programs. This is how the out-of-touch progressive narrative is created, as he argues. These priorities do not match those of the American taxpayer, and instead of a boring policy speech, he uses shocking examples to force the question, are they really trying to spend our money on that? Which is why his approach is so effective, funny, and memorable. So, drop your thoughts in the comments.